Welcome to the webinar. You have entered as an organizer and may now speak to any other organizers or panelists on the line. When you are ready to begin the presentation, press the Start Broadcast button on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast.
Sure. Yeah. So how about this? Why don't you skip on our conversation and that, right? And let's connect again. I'll be back from Denver next week, mid next week. So let's connect towards the end of next week. Yeah. Why don't we just do it now? And let's see. Let me look at my calendar. Next week is the 30th. 2 hours or 3 hours? What time is it now?
Hello.
Oh, you are 3 hours. Okay, got it. 1 my time. Okay, right. How is 3 p.m. next? 3 p.m. my 3 p.m. my time. Yeah, Friday. Yeah. 3 to 4, perfect. Yeah, let's do that. Let's touch base on Friday. Wonderful. All right, you have a great week, David. Good to talk to you. All right, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Celine, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can I start the broadcast?
I'm sorry?
Should I start the broadcast?
You sure can.
Okay, great.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Bree and Salim here. Please make sure that you can hear me. Please type into the comments box that everyone can hear me. It's a beautiful day here in New Jersey. We are heading out in just a few hours for our first intensive. Very excited about that. Today is a training call about 60 to 75 minutes. We will be focusing on a championship team, but Salim will get into that in a little bit. So please just continue to type in if you can hear me or not. I would greatly appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Philip. Thank you. Before Salim hops on the call, I just want to thank everyone for your participation thus far in the program. It's been going really, really well. We've gotten some great strategic objectives out. We're in the process of solidifying a few procedures for like Philip and Tommy. Thank you guys for taking the time to hop on a call with me. So anybody that still needs to schedule that with me, the strategic objective workshop or any of the procedures, you can just click the links that are in the email that I sent or follow up with a personal email from me. And we can definitely get that scheduled. I don't want anybody to miss out on the elements of the program. And right before I give this to Salim, I just want to commend Jeffrey Campbell, who created his service agreement and actually signed up and solidified it and signed up a client yesterday. So kudos to you, Jeffrey. That is awesome. He's also in the midst of thinking about, getting an office. So a lot of really great things coming your way. And just like to share these wins so everybody can kind of see that they can all, achieve their practice goals. So that is all from me. You'll also see that in the handouts. I've uploaded the training guide in case anybody wasn't able to see it. And I guess I'll give the floor to Salim now.
All right. Thanks, Bree. Appreciate that. And your contribution in this program. So thank you. Awesome. Let's get started, folks. Got my webcam up and running. And man, I'm so excited. We are going to talk about building a championship team in this session together. And it's really, really important to have a good quality team of people that we are working with. And we'll talk about the nuances in doing that. And the reason it's important is if you're growing our practice, most practitioners end up doing a lot of the work themselves. And that's disheartening, because that's not the reason you are in practice. You wanna enjoy life as well. You wanna have some freedom as well. And so that's what, building a championship team enables you to do. So first, a huge big welcome to everyone. We've got a full house here. That's awesome. Thank you for joining us. The Genius model, I bring this, and I like to see this, this framework just to become clear about the big picture, the three big areas: client attraction, 1, streamline operations, 2nd, and then a championship team, 3rd. And so we've covered good ground with the check marks that you see there, with streamline operations system, we've, covered systems and 5-star service and pricing, fees, some of the stuff around service agreements that came from that. Goals, you became clear about your 10-year big, hairy, audacious goal, and then a strategic objective, a 3-year goal. And many of you have got that down on paper, your 3-year plan. And hey, if you haven't, please do. That's all. It's a reminder. It's not lost. It's not all lost. What is lost is if you don't do it at any point in time. So if you haven't done it, it's okay. Just kind of look at it. And if you did it, I would encourage you to revisit it. Yeah, take some time and say, hey, let me just look at my strategic objective. Let me review my goals, and keep that in a visible place, so it's always top of mind. So along the lines of championship team, what we're going to cover today is creating a winning culture and then smart hiring. And so that's the agenda for the next hour. I've been in practice for 22 years. I've made many mistakes when it comes to hiring people, when it comes to keeping people, with my own leadership. So I've made, it's been lots of learning and mistakes mistakes that I've made, a lot of learning that has come from it. And I'm grateful that, I've made the mistakes and I've, learned from it. Nothing worse than making mistakes and not learning from it. I've learned from it. I've hired, outside coaches to coach me, because sometimes I'm too close. Many times I'm too close in the forest that I can't see the difference between the trees in the forest. So, got that kind of insight from outsiders as well. And that's what I want to share with you today is how to build a championship team, how to look at your existing team, get them to function at a higher level. All right, so I'm not going to, you know that, this is stuff that you're very clear in your head, the importance of having a championship team, or what happens when you don't have a championship team. It's you end up doing a lot of the work, and it's stressful and it's frustrating, and your practice never reaches its full potential. And your clients may not be happy, right? Resulting in low profits. But when you get this, you'll have a high-performing organization, high accountability performance, work how much you want to work. You choose to work how much you want to work. For me, it's 1 to 2 days a week, 2 days during tax season, 1 day outside tax season. And that's me. Maybe you say, what? I like to work 3 days a week. No reason that you shouldn't be able to do that, right? But you need the team in place to do that. All right, so we'll talk about how to create a winning culture through core values and then smart hiring. And the way to create, well, let me bring this to you. what does a winning culture mean for you? I want you to think, and I want you to envision what is, and look 3 years from now. What does a winning culture in a company look like? Yeah. What does a winning culture look like? What's a championship team? So I want you to share with us what are you thinking when it comes to a winning team, or winning culture, a championship team? What are the words that are coming in your head as you think about what is a winning team, or a championship team, or a winning culture, or a high-performing organization? What does that mean? So fire away, folks. Think, just cut loose. Be with me, present here. Answer the question, and what words come in your mind for a few, key words that you're thinking about when it comes to your dream team. What is a dream team to you? Give you guys 20 more seconds to share. What is your dream team? Few more seconds, folks. If you type something, another word, few words come to mind, let it release it through your fingers on the keyboard and share. What's your dream team? All right, let's see what you're hearing. And please, folks, listen to what others are saying. Let me trigger some ideas and some thoughts for you. So Kathy is getting us started here with saying positive attitude. And then she is also saying care about the quality of the work. So it's team members that have a positive mental attitude, that are positive. And I guess positive attitude comes from what? From the words that are used is positivity, right? We are more positive than negative. This cannot be done. I'll never get this done. That's negative. Positive is, yeah, I'm going to give it a shot. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, let me get right to it, right? This is like positive language, and then the facial expressions as well. Are they negative? The facial expression, is it negative or is it positive, right? So some of what Kathy is sharing, and then there's a concern about the quality of the work, right? We are concerned if something's not right. We get very concerned. Why did I not pick that? We want to do the right thing. So there's a lot of concern and care and diligence that's put in doing the work. So this is kind of some my own commentary with some of what Kathy shared here. Jeff saying all team members agree with company values and goals and work together to accomplish those goals. So Jeff, my commentary with what you're saying here, and I want us to all get a flavor and become very clear in our own heads what a company, a high-performing organization is. So with Jeff saying all team members working together to accomplish those goals. So there is a common thread. We are all very clear on what the goals are, and we all see ourselves as team members helping each other. We are working together rather than independently, right? So there's a lot of synergy and collaboration and sharing and innovation that's taking place as an organization, right? Individuals not thinking that they are it or they are the solution. It's the team. When we work together as a team is where the company reaches its goals. Well said, guys. Phil saying, staff take responsibility for firm operations and take pride in pleasing and serving clients. So staff taking responsibility for so feeling concerned, they're taking responsibility. There's ownership. Yeah, they're feeling a sense of ownership. There's pride in being part of an organization and the responsibilities. So good on that. Yeah, and taking pride in pleasing and serving clients. So client satisfaction is important. Taking good care of clients is important for everyone. Tom is saying everyone performed their jobs in such a way to minimize management's correction. Good. So this is an organization where mistakes are infrequent. That's the word, right? Or don't happen. Yeah. But we're minimizing the number of errors, the mistakes that are happening. So everyone's really taking care of doing their work in the best way possible. So that's kind of come before as well. So I think that's something that keeps reappearing, is do it right the first time. So there's care, there's concern about doing it right the first time. Brooke saying joyful, efficient, knowledgeable. I like the word joyful, right? Big difference in an organization where people and team members are joyful. And I guess joyful comes, and it's probably linked with having a positive attitude. I think Kathy shared that, right? A positive attitude it shows up, joyfulness shows up in the way we describe things, the words, the scripts that we use, right? And it also shows on our faces. If we're having a joyful day, that's different than somebody who's not having a joyful day. So Brooke well said with joyful, and then efficient and knowledgeable. Kathy saying their goals align with mine. So common set of goals, and cool, good on that. Scholastica saying quality and focused team. So a team that's very focused, and a team that's very focused means focused on the goals, on accomplishing the goals, right? They're very focused they're not distracted. They're focused on the task at hand. I want to do my work, whatever that may be, right? They want to do the work right. They want to help the company reach its goals. Brooke saying, and self-motivated. Cool. Yeah. People taking their own initiative, and they're enthusiastic. They're excited. They're as excited about the company reaching its goals as you are. And that. So very nice. Wow, that was great. The more clearer we can get, the easier it is to get it. Because if we're not clear in our own heads as the leader of what is a high-performing team, then we cannot make it happen. Yeah, if you're fuzzy about it, it's going to come out in a fuzzy plan. So the more clear we can get is, hey, what is a high-performing team? Then we go on and work through it. So the way to create a high-performing team, a winning culture that encompasses many of what you've shared here in the list that you say with between joyfulness and knowledgeable and efficient and having a positive attitude and working on towards common goals and being focused and so forth, is through core values. Core values is how you get the whole team working on and being on the same page. Core values, right? What are core values? Core values are beliefs, the inner beliefs that we have about things that are important in life, right? They are inner beliefs about things. During the first, in a prior training session, we talked about personal values. What's stuff that's important to you? And I want you to refer to it as you go about creating your firm's core values. This is going to be about one of the most important things that you'll do for your practice in terms of building a championship team is creating your firm's core values, the inner beliefs, having a discussion with your team members about what are your beliefs. and you will see how different people are and how similar people are as well when you go and have this discussion about core values. And what I mean by that is, let's say, you'll pick 7, 8 different categories in terms of having a core value and in terms of having a discussion. So one of the categories can be clients, another can be employees or team, another can be technology, another one can be systems, community, leadership, and so forth. And you pick 6, 7, 8 different categories surrounding that. Now, when it comes to clients, as an example, you can have a discussion and say, all right, folks, your team members sitting on table, and you say, all right, let's pick this category, clients. Write your innermost belief about clients. When we say the words clients, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to a firm, to an organization? And you will get people describing it in different ways. Some will say clients are number one. Some folks are going to say clients can live without them. Someone else will say clients pay the bills, and so forth. And you have this discussion and an understanding. Somebody says clients are number one. Hey, tell me, what do you mean? And they'll describe them. They'll probably give an example of somewhere where they went and they felt well taken care of. And through that process, you create your firm's core values. There may be 4 of them, there may be 5, 7, 8. And I've studied different organizations, and the number can range from commonly 5 to 8. It can range from 5 to 8. And so these are some examples of core values randomly picked from different organizations. And you can just see for yourself, this is stuff that was important to the first organization, open-minded, willing to seek and implement new ideas. Second core value for that first organization is follow through on our decisions, be the implementation kings. Number 3, practice what we preach. Our business performance is exceptional. Number 4, ethics. We do only what is right for our team and our clients and our team. Number 5, personal belief. We set lofty goals knowing we can achieve them. Number 6, pride. We take pride in everything we touch. So this is an example, some examples of, one example of, a company that has 6 core values. The second organization is a different set of core values, right? Ethical, first one had number 4 was ethics. This one has number 1 on their ethics list, but they do have ethics. The third organization here in this example doesn't have ethics. Doesn't mean anything one way or the other. Second core value, understandability, helping you achieve amazing results. Number 3, caring, building genuine relationships. Number 4, fun, do what you love and love what you do. Number 5, practice what we preach, which is similar, isn't it, to the first organization? That their number 3 was that, which is number 5. The third core, set of core values here are pride. Just one word. These words mean a lot to that organization. Pride, passion, trust, be fearless, have fun, freedom for our people. Now, the shortcut method, which I don't advise, is to pick and choose core values as the owner, create a set of core values for your organization and say, I like the first one there, open-minded, and I like number 3 here, caring, and I like passion, and I'll pick 2 other core values from companies that I like, and I'll create my 5, and I'll tell my team and me, this will be our core values. Again, don't advise you do that, because these are core values that came from other organizations. They're not going to be that meaningful to you and your team. So the way to do this is to create your core values. The most important aspect of creating core values is the discussion you're going to have with your team. It's the discussion you're going to have with your team to come with a common understanding of what's important, which words are important, which core values are important, and which ones are not, right? And you go through that process and then bring that level of clarity through that discussion is, and then create your firm's own core values. One of the biggest mistakes and something that's very prevalent in CPA firms is lack of communication from the leadership to the team. Yeah, communication coming from the leader to the team is either lacking or it's severely lacking, right? We want our team to be focused and we want our team to be all on the same page. But as the team leader, you've got to share with everyone what are the goals. If you want everyone focused on the goals, we got to create those goals and we got to then communicate those goals and we got to then create a platform of frequently looking at those goals and so forth, right? So let's kind of, through this, now as we are discussing this, I want this to be kind of, if you're doing this already, you're communicating to your team members, look to see how you can amplify that. And if you've not done as much of it, I think there's always room for more communication. I know for myself, there's room for more improvement in terms of communication and being clear about communication and to share and to communicate in a way that people hear what you're saying. It's in there, it's done in a way that they resonate with it and they understand it and they get excited about it. And so that there's an art that's there. And we can get better at that art if we are mindful of it. And we know that there is such a thing that you want to communicate more and you want to communicate in a more effective way, right? All right, so let's move on. I kind of describe to you the process of creating your firm's core values. A team effort. It could be gathering, saying everyone, hey, love to meet with everyone tomorrow, next week, whatever that may be. Getting your team all on this, all in the conference room, in one room, and picking 7 or 8 different categories: clients, team, systems, community. Like, what are the things that you want to have a discussion on, right? There are like 7 or 8 different things. And, and go through each one. So, as the example that I gave, and let's say it's team, right? Get everyone to think of what are the words that describe their belief about team. And you'll get, if you've got 5 people on your team, you'll get 5 different words, 5 different sentences that people are going to share what's important for them. And you put them all together in one cluster and get people to vote, go through the voting process, step 2. Yeah, so if you've got 5 sentences on team, somebody is going to say, you know what, I like this one the best, that's my first choice, and I like this one, that's my second choice. And you get people to write down the numbers of which ones do they like in what order. And going through that exercise, you'll know which ones are the favorites out of the 5 written for team, and 5 written for clients, and 5 written for systems, and 5 written for leadership, and 5 written for technology, and 5 written for community, and 5 written for five, pick 7, 8 different categories. You'll get 5 different sentences, and you'll know, in an hour or 2 hours, which ones are the top picks. And that's your version 1.0. The top picks, You've got the top picks for each of these categories. That's your version 1.0 of core values, and you give yourself a pat on the back because you've created your version 1.0. Then in a separate meeting, following a few days or so, hey, let's get together, folks. Let's look at version 1.0, and let's see if we can get a version 2.0 from it. And you have people now looking at version 1.0 and saying, hey, I like this word. Hey, what about this? Hey, we didn't talk about this. Should we put that as a separate core value? Or they'll say number 1 and number 4 core values are very similar. I wonder if we can consolidate them. So you'll have a second meeting, and you'll create from that a version 2.0. And that's super exciting because that's good work for you and your team to create a common set of beliefs surrounding your business. And that version 2.0 is put on a flip chart, and you put it in a few places in your office, right? The reason you put it in a couple of places in your office is when people are walking. One could be your conference room, one could be somewhere else where your team passes by. You want them to see and say, hey, when you guys are passing by here, look at these core values. Let's have another discussion in a few weeks from now, whatever that may be. And I'd love to get your input. How is this sitting with you, the core values that we've created? And whatever input you have, please share it with us in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. And that's when you get your team again to talk about your core values and say, you know what, I don't like this, or I feel like this is pretty solid, and you'll have different feedback coming for that. And you pretty much got a very good set of core values from this exercise. Any questions? Any questions? Any need for clarity on how for you to make this real? For you to make this real in your own firm, for you to create your firm's core values. Are you clear? Is this something you can do very soon? Is create your firm's set of core values. Great question, Brooke. I'll answer in a moment. A few more seconds, folks, is an opportunity to share. You want to get this done. You want to get this done quickly. What are you thinking? What's getting in your way? What's going to hold you back from creating a version 1.0 in the next 10 days? We're looking for fast implementation here. What's going to hold you back? What's the roadblock for you, if any? So kind of just share something. If you're ready to do it, say, yep, I'm going to get it done. No roadblocks. I'm clear. I'm going to do it. Positive language. Positive language, positive energy. You're halfway there. If you're not sure, write it out. I'm not sure. And I'll ask you, why not? Right? We get you to think and get over the brain, the roadblocks in the brain. Most of them are not real. They're just roadblocks getting in your way, right? You're capable of far more than the roadblocks getting in your way. So you need to cut through them, right? You need to cut through them. And you want to accomplish core values because it's going to be one of the most valuable things you're going to do in terms of helping you build a championship team. So cool. Brooke's asking a question. We're discussing whether to include our part-time college students in this. So Brooke, my advice to you is if you can get them to come in and if you can schedule a meeting with them, like from a time scheduling standpoint, they're there, I would include them. If it becomes that that their schedule doesn't allow for you to get everyone in the room because of how their schedule is, then I would say leave them out. But if their schedule permits where you can get everyone in the same room, I would do that and get this exercise going within the next 10 days. Tommy is saying, we'll get done this afternoon. We'll get done this afternoon and review next Friday. We'll drive through the potential roadblocks if needed. Awesome, beautiful, cool. Super. Phil saying we'll get it ready, but we'll get it completed after one team member returns from vacation. We need to include her in the process. Awesome, good. So kind of Phil, the action you can take is to send an email out within 72 hours. You guys remember my rule of 72 hours. Take action within 72 hours. Most times, take action now, soon, within the hour, within 2 hours, and do that. And so, so the action to take is send an email to your team member saying, hey, folks, we're going to meet on this day. This person's going to be back from vacation. I want us to work on our firm's core values. I'm really excited, and I'll share with you what it's about when we meet. So Phil, I would encourage you to take that action of moving in the direction of that goal of creating your firm's core values by sending out that email and communicating to your team members so you're not surprising them with something. And Tommy, something from your standpoint is you're looking to do it this afternoon. Do you need to send an email and just tell everyone about it and then have them, appear, come for the meeting so they know what it's about? Give them a few lines about firm's core values, just kind of throwing it out there, right? There's no right or wrong way. The right, what's important is it gets done, right? The important is it gets done. You use your own, intuition and genius to create your way of how to do it. Yeah, not telling anyone how to do it. The important thing is it gets done, right? That's what's important. So the rule of 72, personal story. I met with one of my business coaches for lunch the other day, and she had met somebody who she wanted to connect me with, somebody who publishes a local magazine. And so she said, Salim, I think you should, connect with Jennifer. I think it's a good, you guys would benefit from it. So I got, she said that she gave me Jennifer's card. And of course, within 72 hours, I connect with Jennifer. I connected with Jennifer that afternoon, after lunch. And, my coach meets with Jennifer the next day, and she's having a conversation. And Jennifer tells my coach, oh, by the way, Salim reached out to me. And my coach tells Jennifer, well, I'm not surprised. He does, he's a fast implementer. He takes action within 72 hours. And so that was just a testament that, I try to live it, right? More times than not. Because I know that that's where success takes place, is from the implementation part, right? Lots of good ideas, but if they're not implemented, they're ideas. Lots of good stuff I'm sharing with you. Like I'm sharing with you the key important stuff you want to do in your practice. But if you're still going to be thinking about it, then you're going to lose out, right? You're going to take action. Do it. You learn from it. You'll make mistakes. I know that. I do that, right? It won't be done perfectly well, but good is good enough, right? Good is good enough. Move in that direction. Even if you've got one part-time assistant, do this core values exercise with that person. Learn from it. You'll get better for the second go around for however that shows up, right? So again, a reminder, an encouragement for you to do it. No, let's not just talk about it. Let's not just think about it. Do it. Okay, Jeff saying I have no team right now with the exception of my wife. We'll discuss this with her. Good, love the positive energy. And your wife is very supportive, Jeff, because I met her in Atlanta. And so, yeah, do it. Do it with her. Yeah, do it with her. And create your version 1.0. Scholastica saying we're only 2 full-time. Can it will be a few days later. Cool. As long as you do it, Scholastica, it's all good. Super. Let's move on, folks. Once we've got your core values created, you've created a version 1.0, and then you move on to a version 2.0. You're far along in this process. Then we want to live your core. You want to live your core values. The way to live your core values is through meeting with your team members on a regular basis. Yeah, you want to be meeting with your team members on a regular basis. So, you can do daily huddles. I know some practices do daily huddles, some don't. But at the minimum, weekly meetings is super important. Having weekly meetings is really important with your team, right? It can be a 30-minute meeting. It's scheduled. It's on the calendar, and you're meeting, and it's if you've got an accounting and tax team, that's the team that's meeting. If you've got an admin marketing team, that could be the team that could be meeting. So start doing them by department, perhaps. Do them by department, and the purpose of the meeting is to get a progress report, how everyone is doing. What are people working on? Potential challenges, potential roadblocks that they have. It's an opportunity for everyone to get an update on new clients signed up, new services, additional projects, and so forth. Yeah. So daily huddles, weekly meetings, monthly team meetings are like weekly meetings. They are on a monthly basis. Trimester team meetings is planning out reviewing the prior trimester and planning out the following trimester. So that's trimester meetings. And then annual meetings are looking at the whole year. Yeah, the next 12 months. Where I would encourage you to start is with the weekly meetings. Yeah, once a week, meet with your team. Once a week, meet with your team. And if anything, I would add to this would be one-on-ones. In addition to the weekly team meetings, I would have one-on-ones with your team members as well. And this can be 15-minute one-on-ones, 20-minute one-on-ones. Hey, checking in. How's it going? What's on your mind? What are you working on? How can I support you? Right? So that's what it is. So three things that I would absolutely do from these meetings. Number one is weekly meetings, group meetings. Weekly group meetings, number one. Number two, what I would also do is weekly one-on-one meetings. And then the third thing I would do from this meeting schedule that you see here is having trimester team meetings. So planning out the year, breaking the whole year into 3 trimesters, January 1st to April 30, May 1st to August 31st, September 1st to December 31st, right? So 3 trimesters, and you can schedule your next trimester meeting. It's August, so it's, next trimester is September 1st. You can schedule a meeting and say, all right, we're going to review. Let's plan out the next 4 months. What are some of the important things we want to accomplish in the next 4 months as a company, right? And from that company meeting, you'll identify and find out what are the important things that as a company you need to do, and then assign them to your team members, because the company goals won't get accomplished just by itself or just by you working. It's going to be a team effort. So you get your team helping you towards the company goals. Any questions on any of what I shared, please feel free to type that in. So this is an example of my firm's core values. Just as an example, please don't take this. Yours have to be homegrown. I'm going to move on. Let me bring this to you. Let me bring the conversation back to you. What's been most valuable for you so far? You can take a few seconds and share that. That'd be great. What's been most valuable for you so far from everything we've covered in this today? What's resonated the most with you? Where do you need to pay attention to? From what I've shared, where do you want to go next? What do you need the most right now? All right. Kathy saying the daily huddle, when I first heard you say that a year ago. Prior to doing that, we would both just come into work and start working. Got it. Phil saying firm communication through daily and weekly meetings to get us all on the same page. Very cool. Brooks saying the concept of an actual meeting hierarchy of scheduling. I never thought about it before. Awesome. Cool. Tommy saying helping me define core values. We're a small firm doing daily meetings by the end of the day for the following day. Very nice. Good. So communication platform have that rhythm through communicating on a very regular basis. And awesome. That's fantastic. Thanks, guys, for sharing that. Let's move on. So this next thing is it's a tool to evaluate, assess your current people in terms of how well or not well are they living with their core values. So this is what this tool is, where you list out the people you have, you list out the core values on the top there, and you put a plus for someone who's living that core value. Most of the time or all the time, you give them a plus. You give them a plus and a minus, plus minus, if they sometimes live the core value and sometimes they don't, and if you give them a minus if they don't live the core values. And when you go through this exercise, you will get a nice objective look at how your existing team is living its core values or not. So first step, folks, is going to be, first let's create the core values. Let's get on a meeting rhythm, and this would come later on. I'm just kind of going to just sharing it with you, that you know that there is this tool to enable you to get to assess your team in terms of how well are they living your core values. All right, so we kind of covered that. There's more here in this PowerPoint that describes what these things are. And so that's going to be stuff you'll have access to. I'm not going to get into them. Wow, there's more here in terms of smart hiring. Who's looking to hire someone in the next few months? You're looking to make a hiring decision in the next few months. And if so, what position? What position are you looking to fill? All right, so Brooke is saying we need an office administrator with experience. Kathy is saying text technician to start in January. Jeff saying looking to hire a part-time administrative assistant. Awesome, cool. So let's make sure, let's do everything we can to bring a superstar in, right? And so to bring a superstar in is going to be hiring the needle from a haystack. It's finding that needle in a haystack, right? So several steps to finding that right person, starting with defining the role, creating a job description of what is that person's going to do. Brooke, in your case, it's an office administrator with experience. Let's get a job description. Tax technician, administrative assistant, seasonal tax preparer, Tommy says, right? So different positions that you're looking for. Let's get a job description in the on a one pager, and from that we'll know what skill sets we're looking for as well, right? So that's step one that you see there. Second is we're going to advertise the role. You can see examples of different job ads that I've created, that we have created in my firm. So take a look at that. Use any of that. Make it your own. Use and promote the position. So advertise the role. You'll get a flurry of resumes and all that. Go through them, mark them A, B, C, D, or excellent, average, whatever, three buckets or so. People that are really, your A pile, get your, so you shortlist them. You conduct phone interviews. So if you've got 7 interesting people that seem good, like really seem good, call them up, 15-minute phone call, interview them on the phone. The best ones, 3 or 4, invite them for a face-to-face interview, and assess which ones, from that assess which ones are good and make your selection. And then the onboarding process is super important, right? Lots of firms fall down on the onboarding process, so that's really very important as well. Now, when it comes to the interviewing process, this is a concept that I've learned from a person by the name of Carol Quinn. She wrote a book on this. I'm also interviewing her on the subject of interviewing, motivation-based interviewing. And you'll have access to that interview because she's really specialized in this. And so the questions to ask a candidate have to be based on skills, attitude, and passion. Most times we ask questions just from skill. So you have somebody who's really got the right skill set, but they don't have the attitude. And, when we were thinking of your dream team, your championship team, some of what you said is a positive attitude and joyful and caring and concerned and doing it right the first time. So there's an attitude that, we need to test their attitude. Yeah. What is their just general attitude about life and the world and that, right? And then you also want to ask questions along how passionate are they about this position, this type of work. What's their passion level, right? You can have somebody who is really very skillful. So Brooke, in your case, I'm just going to pick on you there. You can hire an office administrator that has all the skills. They're super with Word and all this, stuff that you need. They're very organized. And they've got a great attitude. But this office administrator is just not passionate about doing office administrator work. They'd rather do marketing. They'd rather be a salesperson. Or they'd rather be an accountant, say, right? So they're not passionate about the position. And so you wanna ask questions to make sure that they're meeting that as well, right? So the right questions to ask is really important, surrounding skills, attitudes, and passion. And we've created a list of those types of questions that will I don't know if it's in the guide per se. It very well could be. If not, we're happy to. All right, they're right here. Page 14. You've got examples of questions for skill, questions for attitude, and then questions for passion. And I want you to develop more questions by using those as examples, right? And then really digging in. If somebody says something, really staying on with that question and really going further into it. So you really get to know and understand who that person is. All right, not getting into. So here's what we covered. winning culture through core values, team meetings, and building that rhythm, and then hiring the right people. And I also shared with you a tool to see how your existing team members are matching up with your firm's core values. Any questions with what we've covered today? What's next for you? When are you gonna take action? What's implementation looking like for you from what we've covered today? What are the action steps for you? I'll give you a few seconds. I'm going to share those answers once you've got them all here, and then we'll wrap up. What are your action steps from today's training? All right, keep them coming, guys. All right, let me start sharing. Phil saying, working on firm culture and establishing the meeting times. Beautiful, great, good. Get it on your calendar, Phil. Jeff saying, this core values with partner. Okay, partner, I understood your wife. Yes, perfect, awesome. Tommy saying, agree and document core values. Beautiful. Brooke saying, set meeting to discuss core values. 1.0, good. And then she says, set weekly meetings and daily huddle schedule. Nice. Number 3, office administrators start listing tasks. Great, good stuff there, Brooke. Jeff saying, create job descriptions for admin assistant and create interview questions. I like that, Jeff. That's great. Beautiful. Good stuff. You guys are clear. You've got you know where you're going next with this stuff. So very, very exciting. Oh, Scholastica, you're saying working on core values. Great. Good. Let's finish off here. I don't want to just keep everyone for the sake of keeping everyone on this call. We're going to be meeting again next week. I can wait to hear from you and get that feedback from you on how that process went in you doing this version 1.0 and you sharing your core values. So this is just going to be a big step in the right direction in your firm's development. So with that said, folks, thanks for jumping on this training. Hope you got a lot from it, and have a great week. And I'll talk to you soon next week.